Yeah, because I'll try to watch what I say, and then.
You don't have to.
No, I know, but.
So worst gonna happen, kick you off?
Well, Brian
Camera.
called, messed with this, and I told him not to get on my computer.
Oh,
People. It says view, yeah, hit view,
View,
yeah, top to top. And then you should be able to go to, oh, why is that there? Why is it the camera? See, your light's not on your camera.
what's that start video down there in the corner?
Yeah, that might be it. Yep,
What's
that's
down
it.
here? I don't know how
You
they
gotta
got
like
that
go
thing up
down to
there.
the bottom menu bar. Right
There.
Next
The other one.
this one?
No,
No, go to the
to your
right.
right.
To your right, right there. See that? Yep, that turned the camera on.
It's on Chris today.
Oh, yeah, someone had to adjust the camera here a few weeks ago.
Oh, here. I didn't want to be on it.
Camera shy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
Perfect. I can't even scratch.
I put my hat back on so it keeps the glare down.
Nobody wants to listen to what me and Brad have to say,
Around.
or look at us when we say it.
What? I'm gonna go look at all the time. There's quite a crowd over there at courthouse last night. My chicken out. Standing room. Good. Yeah. Can we stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, call meeting to order. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for January 16th.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for January 9th, 2024.
Thank you. I'll second that. Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
John, did you aye?
Yes. Aye, sorry.
Okay, meetings 10 and 5.
We had a Board of Health meeting Thursday?
Yep, I
I think it was Thursday, didn't have a quorum. Jim and I were the only ones there. And so then, she rescheduled it for today at 5 o'clock. And of course, early childhood is today at 5 o'clock, so. I chose to stay in town, I'll go to the Board of Health meeting today. We had a conservation meeting. Lucky me, I got to be chairperson.
Good job.
Yeah. There was a lot of talk on the director's position. They're gonna get it back out on the street again and for applications, a little bit of talk about the director's pay. I kind of went back and forth for a little while. I'm still not sure they nailed anything down really. They just got kind of a range. I guess we'll see what kind of applicants we get. Then we had a pretty good talk on the budget. I thought they did a great job with the budget. It's $3,000 over what it was last year, including a 10% raise. So,
And we still have $71,000 of the director's salary that's
yeah, it's not being used.
used in that budget, so.
So, they will, I'm sure, present that here pretty soon, but, I compliment them all. I said if they could, if every department could do that, we could probably make it all work, but I know that's not gonna happen, so. But, anyway, it was a good meeting and I got my feet wet, so. That's really all I had this
Okay.
week.
Thank you. Chris?
I had a Russ board meeting last Wednesday.
Yeah, so.
We had a quorum, both physically and Zoom and
Good.
business as usual. They're still trying to figure out how to rejuvenate a ballpark in Argyle and whether we can help them out or how much we're gonna help them out is being discussed. Just a lot of good talk with 6 counties worth of supervisors about the House File 817 that's really putting a stamp on everybody's budgets. I think it's going beyond what it was designed to do. So that's the one meeting I can think of.
Okay, I had a couple of local development meetings. What we're working on is, like I said, trying to get businesses and there's some interest in some land with some businesses coming in, and so we're working with them, trying to make it happen. And we had a meeting yesterday morning at 8 o'clock out there at Secondary Road, just kind of emergency management, Adam. Just kind of discussion on roads, what emergencies we do have out there. It's toward the latter end, everything's looking good. They got Cotter opened up, that gravel road outside of Cotter. I guess it was about as bad as it was out there nigh. They have that open. Got the rammer, the truck with the V plow on it's pretty. I think
Without
worry
it,
you if it got behind you.
without it, they would get.
Oh, heck no. But just started getting phone calls this morning on some people that are still in there, and I talked to Adam and he's on it. I think it went very well for what we had. I think they handled it so. I mean, they had a few incidents, few mechanical things yesterday. I think you guys, he called all you guys too, probably.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job keeping
I did too.
the supervisors informed. I'm sure he called you guys as well as he called me and letting us know how every day was going. I thought he did a wonderful job. So
It was like being locked
it was
up,
tough.
you know, and
Yeah.
with people that got stranded. And I think too, with the public, I think we're in a couple, 3 different generations since we had the 79. But like I noticed the other day, people were just going to the store, and you gotta be careful, family in there. We had an incident over at Minneapolis that very bad, you know, somebody walked away from an accident, so we just gotta. You know, make sure everybody understands that when it's this cold, stay in. Don't try to do anything.
Well, we've got different types of equipment now than we had in 78. So, you know, in 78, not a lot of people had 4-wheel drive, a lot of things were 2-wheel drive, and geez, about every vehicle, not every vehicle, but the majority of them are all-wheel drive now, and it's a little different, but it's still slowed people down. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I think it's just, people just, that's what the biggest thing for secondary roads was, these cars stuck in the road.
Trying to get,
Through it, so.
Yeah.
But other than that, it went really well.
Well, last night I was pulling the rammer trucker out at 5 o'clock. And he was trying to pull the road grader out in front of him. And after the last 6 days, them guys are physically and mentally shot.
They're tired.
And then I seen a little bit last night, you know, they just was.
They were.
The one was so mad at himself, cause he was just trying to blow this shoulder off and get home. And
He's tired.
I started in the ditch.
There's 2 graders, right? You got them both?
I just got one.
Okay.
They're tired of seeing snow. I get it.
Yeah, snow blind.
But they had to even get a crew to the gas main was freezing up out of the main line, and then had to get them out there. Yeah. At 3 o'clock, I called Adam and he says, or Adam called me and he says, everything's went to heck since 2 o'clock today.
Then he tell you something, he said, that ain't the worst thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a Monday.
So, but no, I think everything went well. Still working on it.
They all deserve everybody's
Yeah.
appreciation.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think that's all I have. Any input?
On their secondary roads, do they have a priority on where they go first or I'm not gonna go do somebody's for 4 days. I'm not even gonna attempt to go there, but I'm gonna go by this other guy's house or a certain road 3 days in a row.
There is priority roads and you can address that when Adam gets in here on his thing view, but and also too, emergencies, people will call with emergencies. That takes priority over just trying to get them over, but, yeah, there is a method.
Well, for a kid that worked for the power company, if you just said, well, it's day 4 and I haven't even attempted to come down your road, that don't work for
You
you know.
Yeah,
So
once
if
you
you were
dress
to go
up,
down
yeah.
there before that for 4 days, it'd be a little different situation,
Oh, yeah.
you know, so they hadn't even attempted to go
When
down
Adam
his
comes
road.
in, we'll ask him that question. You get it direct from him, okay? That way it comes from the
Yeah.
secondary roads, okay?
Yep.
Good question. We got a couple of things down there at the bottom, 13, 14, and 15 we can do. And I would,
I think I've got
you got a couple.
treasurer's report.
Yeah, you want treasurers and I got the sheriffs.
You wanna do
So
13?
semi-annual, this is what, twice a year then, is that right? It just kind of shows where they're at and there's a lot of numbers here.
Or you get a chance to look through it?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if I know exactly what I'm looking at, but go ahead. Treasurer's semi-annual report.
You made the
I
motion?
made the motion.
Okay, and I'll second it.
That's all.
Treasurer's semi-annual report.
Thank you. Second,
I did.
okay, in discussion, all in favor,
Aye.
motion.
Okay, and I'll make a motion, we accept $11,266.94 on the sheriff's quarterly report, for collection of fees.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Morning. Hello.
Hey.
We reviewed one payroll things, right?
Yeah, that's all it was.
That was a length of service for.
I'm just assistant there.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if you had anything. We just
How many
did
you want to give?
public input, we just did that, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss you. Gotcha. Adam, would you, we had a question before you got in here, you wanna address that, what's your priority, how do you want
If they had a priority when they're cleaning the roads, do they have a certain route, a certain priority they go on or? The roads, they do any roads, or all roads, or how do they?
Well, in general, right, which area are you talking about? Or
I'm just telling if you, when you go out to do the roads, you just go do them all once or?
so well, first of all, this was a very, extreme event, one that we have ever experienced during my tenure and during a lot of the guys who've been here for 15 or 20 years haven't ever seen anything like this. Our priority, when we can, is to be able to punch a hole through every road first, right? We want to get a blade down every pathway once, and then we come back and work on pushing back the drifts. I know, you're probably asking about your son's spot out there. And we had a lot of problems out in that area. We couldn't get down K Avenue, we couldn't get down M Avenue. We had drifts over the top of our graders, and we were not able to get out west of Morning Sun. We got out there Friday, but we did not get back out there really to get that, to get the Iowa City Road open until Monday. And, I know on Friday, when we were going out that way, we had some people call in with emergencies, you know, I've got. My heater is out on my house, my kids are freezing, you know, I'm really concerned with that. The guy's wife called, we're crying, you know, can you help us out? So we diverted some of our normal routes to try to go to those specific problems, and that's slowed us down. You know, there's nobody out there that's more important than anybody else, you know, we don't pick and choose based upon a popularity contest or anything like that. It was just a very bad storm, a very bad drifting, especially out west of Morning Sun, because there's no trees out there. You know, so we're doing the best we can, and I guess if there's any specific questions on that, we'll answer them, but.
I can add to that, because on Friday, Mid-American Energy called and wanted a contact number, 24-hour contact number, to get emergency plows in that event. So they had their emergency operations center open, and I gave them Adam's phone number and the sheriff's phone number. And they're.
And I think on Friday and Saturday, there were 2 or 3 ambulance calls, and we have to divert from what we're doing and going down that. We had a situation at the, was it Brad, was it the electric or gas in Morning Sun yesterday?
Yeah.
That we had to break off and go do that. I mean, it's just, you know, that district out there, you've got 72, 73 miles, and a lot of them are dirt roads that don't connect. Right, so we go around, say, a 35th, right? We go down there, we can't push out the rest of the way, we gotta go all the way back and all the way around, and you know, I'm not saying that we were perfect, but we were really up against it, doing our job and helping out, so.
Answer, okay?
They didn't really answer that they had a normal routine.
Yes, we have a normal routine. We usually do the main north and south roads first. You know, in the west, the Wapello District, Morning Sun, our main ones are K and M, right? We try to push those out. The Iowa City Road, generally to the north, is busier. S and T Avenue. These smaller ones like R and 35th and 40th and all them are generally lower, but it's not like we say do these or don't do these. We say we've got more people on M Avenue, so we have to get M Avenue open up. We have to get K Avenue open up. So, you know, I know your son was vocal on Facebook about being not getting service. You know,
Well, I just think you know, as far as no attempt for that many days, I think is frustrating when the attempts go repeatedly down the other road, so.
I guess I don't know that attempts were made on other roads. We didn't even get to the Iowa City Road north of there, and there's 40 or 50 people that live on that road, right? We didn't even get to that one yesterday, so.
When this happened in 78, secondary roads did not have a day off for 30 days to get everybody cleaned out. So I think we did a little better.
Really screwed up.
Yeah, it said it right. We all did.
And do something to that. And you know, and at the end of the day, you know, that's part of the, you know, you move out onto a gravel road, and getting the same services out there is really hard to do, so. You know.
Where's global warming when you need it?
Yeah, there you go.
It sounds like next Tuesday, then it's supposed to rain, and then it'll be.
That'd be fun.
I'm ready for it. Global warming. Anything else? Anna, would you go ahead and start with your update, please? And
Yeah,
you have
update, so everybody knows, we had about 24 inches of snow from Wednesday until Saturday. We were worked all day. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Working back at it today. We had gotten to everybody once on Friday, but a lot of them weren't able to get back till Sunday or Monday. You know, our worst areas were kind of north of Potter, and then west of Des Moines Sun. Our grader guys got stuck and that delayed us a day there. We ended up yesterday putting a dump truck on the road with a plow on it, and that helped to punch through some of these areas. I know we were getting back to Sam Run area today. It had been hit, but it blew and drifted over and all that. So our goal today is to kind of get through the rest of the areas that we haven't gotten to. We are going to wing back our drifts and hopefully get it all in the ditch to the best we can. You know, add in, you know, our emergencies, both ambulance and personal emergencies, and we're getting a situation where we had hogs that need to get feed, you know, and we're always trying to do the best we can to get everybody, you know, open and in, but it is a slow process. You know, we normally have 20 employees, we're down to 18 right now. And so we got guys, you know, we don't have a mechanic, so I'm doing some of that. We don't have an extra power driver anymore. You know, we had one employee who couldn't even get to work until yesterday. A Mike out there. So we're short-handed, but equipment's holding up okay. We actually had a deal yesterday. I called you guys. We were down south of 78, and one of our guys was helping out, you know, because we were short there. So we had moved some guys around to help to get these areas open. And we're driving back, and the chain flew off our grader, smashed a window in our grader. So that guy had to go all the way back home without a window in that weather. I mean, it was really rough. You know, just lots of things like that, and rest assured we're working as hard as we can with the amount of equipment we have and all that. So
I think stranded vehicles might have been another.
oh yeah, I forgot about that. You know, we plow down on the road and there's a vehicle there. Well, we have to back up and go all the way around because you can't get around them because there's no ditches. I mean, it's just a lot of that. I mean, I'm guessing Friday to today there were probably 24 vehicles in the ditches, and that is a problem as well. I wish people, when it's that bad, I wish they would stay home. I understand people have to work and people have emergencies and all that, and I know Brandon's the guys have been after him at it as well. Like, what was it, Friday morning out on X61, we had 4 or 5 cars stuck there. So part of that is we have to divert areas to get those open, because I think there was a situation where there was a pretty potentially bad one there, and we had to go help and slowed everything else down. So I think in the future, you know, we would like to maybe get another smaller truck that maybe we can kind of go and help and do some of those areas as kind of a response vehicle, but something we have to find in the budget, I guess. So any questions? I know we've all talked and we've had a lot of going on and all that. So.
I appreciate you calling me every day and letting me know how it's going and having that back and forth conversation on How's this going? How's that going? I appreciated that.
It was good communication.
Yeah.
Our office. too.
Yeah.
They did a great job with that.
Yeah, you did good.
All right, moving forward, the DOT proposals, we've all seen, all seen those. They wanted a response from the city and the county by the 19th. I have a draft. I'll admit it is not 100%.
Draft.
I've just been busy.
Yeah.
Here's kind of what I take in, some comments from you guys, some comments from landowners, some comments from the city. Let's begin at the top there. I thank them for the opportunity to provide comments. These aren't final because haven't seen their most up to date proposals. First item is on 40th Street and H16, which is the golf course road. We're asking for a right-hand turn lane there onto that. They kind of indicated to me that they would look at it as they got closer to design. I specifically mentioned what we got up there at 305, but that's something that we don't want to see happen. Honestly, they're going to base it on whatever they think traffic turns are at that point.
Isn't that about where they were talking about putting that stupid slip lane or whatever it was?
No, that would be south of 65th. So.
Okay.
So that next one is 65th Street. DOT is proposing a split lane there. And that was gained over having nothing there.
Yeah.
There's gonna be, problems with it, because I've heard from some of the farmers there about getting across the road, and is it really safer to do the head south a quarter mile, make a left turn, head north a quarter mile crossing.
No, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I specifically mentioned, I believe, the at-grade intersection at Sperry, right? If that is safe, why isn't one safe at Buffalo? My understanding with that is they classify it as a freeway through part of it, and an expressway down there and different access. So our questions are going to ask about why this is freeway, why this is expressway, and why do we decide Buffalo had to be at this level. So
Is it so many miles from like a mile or two from an overpass? It's
on
federal
a
project.
freeway,
Yes,
yes,
it's a federal
yes.
project.
So if it's treated as a freeway, that's why there.
Yeah.
But apparently down at Sperry, I mean, they have accurate intersections all there, and I don't know why that's safe, and they didn't say it Buffalo.
I remember a sign trying to get something in the federal areas.
Yeah, my request is for them to talk to these specific people who have raised concerns that, it's not just coming from me, it's coming from the people down there. Getting down further, individual property access, how's that gonna, happen? We're south of town, we're cutting through Margaret Hardy's and places like that, it's gonna have on both sides. How do we get into specific areas? I don't think we've had any talks about those things yet, and I'm just asking them to reach out and talk to them. Talking north of town, we got the hunting access off of 61. Last time we talked to them, they really hadn't even thought about that. And, it's my belief, I believe everybody's belief, that it's not our responsibility to provide access to D in our grounds. We definitely appreciate it, because it brings people in and I was out hunting a couple weeks ago, and I talked to guy from Georgia.
Yeah.
Came here and just spending money and all that, but that needs to be planned. Moving forward, the frontage road on 100th Street. They're proposing, rather than running under the overpass on 100th Street of connecting a frontage road down to G62. From my standpoint, I think that's a pretty good deal. It gets us a new road in really good shape versus the old road. And some of those curves are a little weird. It maybe means less property taken and all that. So my discussion with you guys and everybody else has been, we're generally positive of that, but we would like to see more details.
Yeah, and the opportunity for bring more businesses in the area would be there with it too, so.
Moving on to borrow pits, I know Brett has asked me about this. I know the conservation is maybe interested in the possibility if there are borrow pits out there that's easily converted into public use as a park or something like that. You know, we've got a couple of them up west of Grandview that, you know, if we maybe could have thought about it before, we could have turned those into something a little more useful. Typically the way those are handled, the contractor has to go get their own dirt, so I don't know what ability we have to be involved in that, but we're asking for it to be involved. Moving on to the G62 entrance, right? The DOT has proposed from essentially a little bit west of the interchange all the way into Highway Old 61, a straight shot. 24-foot wide road with paved shoulders. I think that is maybe not what we asked for, but that's definitely an improvement, and it's moving in the right direction. On the county portion, they had asked about right away and all that, you know, I think we all understand that they might need some more right away along that. To make it work, there can be utilities and all those kind of things, so. We did reiterate the case that the intersections on K and 142nd probably aren't ready for trucks. That those should be upgraded to allow truck movements because traffic is going to switch out there. You know, we know that they're not going to improve K or 142nd for us, but we needed to do something to get that process started. Moving on to State Street in the city of Wapello, which is the gravel portion there between the ideal plant and the car wash. They had talked in the meeting about some sort of a curb and gutter section through there. It's our belief, I believe everybody believes that there's not enough room there. There's only 60 foot of right of way. It's going to be 2,500 cars a day going through that. That there probably need to be some sort of either relocating the road or relocating the businesses to make that happen, because there's going to be a lot of traffic, a lot of turning movements. We can't have all that going on in such a small area. When we had talked in the past, the city had expressed an interest for a possibility of a roundabout in there in that location. The thinking was the DOT wasn't going to take part of it, but they're committed to paving a road through there. So maybe that value of money could be given to the city and they could work with their consultant and kind of come up with something that works for the long-term future there.
Yeah, I think they were working on some pros and cons,
Yeah.
to that intersection, you know.
Yeah.
We had a lot of questions and they were gonna provide some feedback and we haven't got those answers yet.
They had provided a cost estimate for that stretch. I don't recall what it is. But it didn't include purchasing right away, turn lanes and all those kind of things. So I felt that it wasn't an apples to apples comparison, that the DOT needed to kind of come back and update their design. And then they would probably get a higher number that more accurately reflected the cost. Because me and Brett and everybody, it was kind of like, well. If you're gonna give them some money, it needed to be. You know, the real cost of it, not some,
It sounds like the relocate ideal would be at least minimal of what the amount is to even bring that block of section into the highway. On the low end is what they told me this morning, so. And whether or not, even if they did relocate north, if they'd even have enough room on the north side for their trucks. So that, I mean, and I think they would like to be in on, if the state does want to have conversations moving forward on, if they are interested in purchasing right away or an easement, they want to have that conversation to let them know, here's our cost of what it would be to relocate that 100 feet north or 200 feet north.
so, those are the issues addressed on that, on the response, This time, it's not a final response, but it's a continuing conversation. And hopefully to get some back and forth here, to let the DOT planners and their designers kind of know what we're thinking. So. Any questions or comments on it?
We can get all the points pretty good.
I know my, I kind of need to update my formatting and some of the. I put it together last week and I meant to get back to it. I just have been busy, so.
Is there anything we need to add or anything? Pretty much it. How about you, Brett? Anything the city needs?
No, we went through it yesterday a little bit. I think as of now, until we can see their feedback, we really don't have anything else yet. I think their numbers are quite low. I think it's like 300,000 or something.
Well, so our wash is probably gonna have to go away. So, I mean, say gonna get the value of that, and then, yeah, relocating that concrete plant, that can't be a cheap job at all. Not to mention the cost of putting the road in.
Yeah.
Very low minimum, sounded like 300 minimum. And need anything, you know, probably went through stuff, that would touch it. But yeah.
Does the city's belief that maybe there's a better alternative road to go into before you lose two businesses?
We kind of went through, let's say 4 options as of now. We did look once at going south, kind of about where the roundabout is and coming in on the north side of the county shed and come in on ISID. But a little worried there with, you know, you got a landowner that has a little bit of set aside property and stuff like that. We'd be encroaching on their property. Hate to take away valuable, you know, land from somebody. We're still looking at even kind of where the road comes in now, but something's gonna have to widen. I mean, whether or not it's an old substation building, it'd be nice to have that intersection, whether it's a new convenience store. You know, we own that old pool yard from the, you know, the old Southern Utility Company. There's some opportunity there, but I think we need some clarification on how many dollars they're gonna allow us. They sound like they want to stop at KF and just give us enough money to finish it and do what we want. Well, that's fine, if it's enough.
State has a little bit more pull when it comes to acquiring properties and right of ways than the city does. Now, I think if I remember correctly, I was in on some of that conversation about that road going down and lining up, I think with either Townsend or one of them. ISID, and I don't think the state was very receptive on that.
No.
They kind of just shook their head and shut down when we.
And one of them, I don't know which one it is. I think there's one of them on that board that I don't think he's receptive to anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, this is my belief.
Yeah.
And
We've been down that path a time or two, haven't we? We went to Des Moines and had that problem.
Yeah, so I think in general, I think the DOT is more willing to talk and it's better than it was. You know, it's not 100% with
Right.
any negotiation or discussion, you know, they have a mission to get this thing done as fast and cheap as possible, and we have a mission to set the county and city up for the best future possible.
Exactly.
I don't even, in the last Zoom conference we had, I don't even think they knew that 110th was even
Hey, they didn't know that 142nd was paved, they were thinking it was a dirt road still, and I'm like, no, it's been paved and it gets a lot of traffic, and it's going to, once that's the route.
Once you put the other one out.
Yeah, so.
Now, just talking here out loud, is it better if the city had their growth before they start buying out in July, out that way? Is that, I just didn't know as far as bargaining, it would be any better. I don't know.
I don't know, it's so hypothetical to.
Maybe that's a attorney
You know.
question. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and at some time, they're gonna, if. There's always been talk of a hotel or a gas station or something, you're gonna have to extend utilities out there, but. That's gonna have to be. Layered in with the project as well, but they're gonna pay for it, but. Those kind of things have to be.
There's a lot of visual opportunity there when they throw their notes in there and you're looking at a map and they start talking about a borrow pit and this and that, and it's like, this. If everything worked out, this could end up being pretty neat on the west side of town. We have a borrow pit that's very connected to Wappo within walking distance, and maybe you have some conservation gets involved and we have some overnight tent camping or canoeing or a no-wake lake and fishing, walk past, whatever.
It
So-
could be to our advantage.
Yeah.
But if you don't do anything, the state's gonna do the bare minimum to get it through there and not give any regard to.
Right.
Yeah, if
People
you guys look up on Highway 20 west of Cedar Falls in the town of Dyke. And it's got a nice little, I believe it's a county park, but it's got nice trails and, a little camping area and something that would really be a benefit for us all. Plus if you're camping, it's very close to the highway, right? That's accessible.
It makes sense if you're gonna do it anyway, you might as well do it. To benefit. As many people as you can, rather than just doing it just because.
Maybe it's Otter Creek, RV park.
Could be. Could be. And what I was getting at is, when is they tentatively March is gonna be public hearing, so.
I don't know if it's March.
Did he kind of?
I think he said he was
March, April, May, something, so,
Cause
Spring?
money comes available supposedly in July to purchase property, so it has to be before that, so.
yeah, I know fiscal year 25 is when right away was gonna be. People were gonna be approached, I can see that dragging on a little bit, because, you just don't show up and buy property in a year, you have to get surveyed and negotiations and. If there's condemnations or whatever, I mean, it's a process, so.
How many years ago were we up at the Bridge Center looking at maps?
Oh, boy.
Decade?
4 or 5.
I'd say privately.
Yeah.
I know I was here and I was fairly new at the job and I remember walking in and there were people like, this isn't what we talked about before, right? There was no south access or no this and
I
that.
haven't made a trip to Des Moines and.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, so, no, I don't see any changes if we wanna send that out.
Do it.
If the city's good with it.
I'll update it and we'll send it out on Thursday, I guess is kind of what I'm thinking. And then if you guys have any other questions or comments or anybody from the public wants to come in and, add to it. We've heard from some landowners and that as well, so we're always looking for comments to pass along, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have one other thing before you do that, just because you're both sitting there, before the snow hit, I noticed on 142nd Street. Where the big trucks come down 142nd and they turn east. That shoulder is starting to get knocked off and it's turning to gravel. So
On the south end,
it'd be on the west side of 142nd as they're turning down. What's that, Commerce Lane? I don't even know what that street is.
Okay.
So going to
on the north
SJ2.
end then. Okay.
So I'm worried
That's
that
the Commerce Lane, people heading north and turning right on the Commerce Lane.
coming down 142nd past my shop and turning east
Oh,
down the concrete road, they're making that big swing right there to go to SJ2.
Yeah.
And that, I'm worried that eventually that road's gonna keep chewing up into the road, so
that's in the city.
throw something out on there. just letting you
I
know.
don't believe you uncovered. I want to see it today.
Get my shovel.
Anything else? Yeah, you want to continue?
Yep, I have a quick one, to approve Eastern Iowa Light and Power Cooperative's application for approval of construction on the West County right away to set poles. Install cabinets and install underground cable on 35th Street.
So moved.
This is the dirt portion of 35th. You go past Mott's and Walker's and all of it down there, that's dirt portion. I do have that on my list of things I would like to upgrade at some point. I asked them if they can kind of cheat their poles to the extent of the right of way, so if we ever needed a ditch, we can ditch and throw it up there, so. I think this is a good one that's benefit to everybody here, so.
You make motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Eastern Iowa Light Power Cooperative application.
And I'll second that.
Any more discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed, thank you.
There's a signature on that.
They got poles out there already. Is it just an upgrade?
But they've been talking about it for a while, so I assume it's upgrade the pole and all
I
that.
mean, they all obviously got power out there.
Yeah, but they're always going through and updating stuff.
You have anything else?
Nope, I'm done.
Thank you for all.
Fill that
I
out.
think I can do that, so I don't think you have anything. Based on and I signed it for it. Wow, we got it done by now.
Thank you. Okay, right on time. It's 9:16, matter of fact. And Greg, compensation board, you guys want to go ahead and start? It's yours.
Do we have?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so it was unanimous on 15% for every department elected. We went through and we had information that, everybody's like the contract. How do I want to say that? Is guaranteed, but at 10% for 2024, July 1st to 2024 would be secondary roads and the union. That's what I want to say. We are just lagging. I mean, they got a good raise last year, but it's just not keeping up with the other counties. We are so low. And the work doesn't change. It's not like they have less work, they probably have more coming through even electronically as opposed to people. And these guys don't, it isn't just 8 to 5. I mean, I know when I was working weekends, you know, your customer comes and they need pick up their marriage license that they didn't get. So you've got to go into the office, or they want to go voting and they didn't renew their vote tag. So you've got to go in and do that. It's just not, 8 to 4:30 jobs. They go over and above. And I just don't think they're compensated enough, especially when you compare them to all the other counties. Just in our district, we're low, very low. So we are recommending, it was unanimous, 15% for every department: supervisors, auditor, treasurer, recorder, county attorney, and sheriff. And we're hoping that you follow through on our recommendation. We spent time with this. So we have lots of paperwork. Right? You have anything?
Not really. I remember when I worked here. One of the things that got us into this problem is because we had people recommend the compensation board does go to a lot of work. Takes a lot of things into account. And to compare them to 5 counties similar in size and tax base as Louisa County, to compare them and be fair with Louisa County employees. The board never took the recommendations. They always went below it. You know, and that might sound good to the voters. But like Leanne said, you're always gonna be behind. I know when I first started here, back in the late eighties, whatever the recommendation was, Board of Supervisors took it. All the time, as far as I can remember. And then there became a faction of, you had some people in there that really didn't want to do that. So that's when it started. And I think it's always gonna be something you're gonna deal with. But there's gonna come a time you gotta bite the bullet and you gotta get us up there with comparative counties and then keep up there. Because if you don't, you're gonna get in the same position that you're in now. So I echo Leanne, you know, highly recommend that you take this 15% and go with it.
You've had people, you know. Adam has a hard time finding somebody for help, and he's not the only one, you know. The assessors, you know, there's a lot that people don't want to come here for low wages, especially if they see a repetitiveness of nobody giving them the raises that we hope to get to even keep up. That may be. No, there's no maybe, but that's just the way it is. And I think if we want to get the help and fulfill our positions and keep our people, we have to pay them well. Or at least to keep up. I don't even know that 15% is well, but that's what we're going with. So we hope you take our recommendation. Tammy agrees. You know anything? Timmy?
I'm too good to know anything.
Well, we hear what you're saying. We went through 4 department heads this year.
It's hard,
And,
you know?
but this House File 817 has just made this the most difficult budget of my career. And how to do this, it limits our growth. Or what we can. It limits us to where 10 years ago, we couldn't have afforded insurance premium raises. So this is gonna be a real challenging budget.
Better you than me.
Well, can I say something here? I feel that if we get the 15% raise or the 10% that the 2 departments are already getting, there needs to be some cuts in those offices. I've cut a position in my office. And you can't expect to have that kind of raise, I guess, without doing something for in your department. I've worked a lot of overtime and come in on weekends to work, and yeah, I'd like to see a raise, but if we don't get it.
Well, like right now preliminary, we're looking at 3 squad cars and you're doing some fairly significant things to change the numbers in the budget, but we're still at real preliminary phases, but this budget's gonna be a challenge. I'll be bald-headed by the time it's done.
The sheriff's office just plugging in people into those 3 spots that it affects with benefits. 15% is $20,000 for those 3 people combined. 10% is only a $5,000 increase. That has everything to do with who's taking what benefits. Plugging those people into those positions for our new budget. So it's not that much. It could have been if people take insurance and different things. But that 15% is $20,000 increase, and that 10% is only a $5,000 increase combined, is what our numbers show right now.
Well, I've talked to some people that have left the courthouse, left some other positions. And the majority of them have told me they didn't leave because of the money, they left because of other reasons. However, some of the money has caused us not to be able to attract new
Yeah.
people. That's the problem that I see. So I don't disagree, but we got a certain number we have to deal with, and until we get all the budgets in here to see where we're at, I have no idea of knowing where we're, how to steer the ship at this point. So,
I know you put a lot of work into it, but thanks.
yeah,
If we have a,
appreciate it.
yeah, we're gonna try to do whatever we can. You know, employees are definitely important to us. We're gonna see what we got in the budget, what we can do.
Okay.
I appreciate not seeing the animosity between the supervisors and the rest of the department heads this year that I saw last year as an incoming person. That bothered me a little bit, and I'll be honest, I'm glad to see where it's at. I'm here to do the best I can for not just the people in Louisa County, but the employees too, so. You'll have my backing to do everything that I can.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
The only thing I have to add, and I, you know, I would never come and ask for a 15% raise. That's an enormous raise. We got a large raise last year. But I lost an employee this year who went to a neighboring county. He's making $40,000 more than he was making here. To do essentially the same job. It's full-time instead of 3/4, but it's, you know, it's still, I think if it was full-time here and the same salary, it would be still a $20,000 increase over what we pay. Same benefits and everything, so. I have a hard time attracting people, I have a hard time, keeping people. Dave Matthews is retiring after 35 years or something, next year, and I'm gonna have a real hard time replacing him, with anybody, let alone somebody with any experience, once he's gone, so. I don't know, I guess I just ask you to keep that in mind, that, services are gonna suffer. I mean, we've added deputies, our work has gone up, we've not added anybody, you know, since we added the part-time position for delinquent fine collection and magistrates court, you know, about 8 or 10 years ago. But the number of deputies has gone up substantially, so it's not that they're creating crime, but they're finding a lot more of it because there's more of them out there able to do those jobs, so. I just ask you to keep that in mind, and not necessarily for me, but for my department, the people I'm gonna have to retain and the people I'm gonna have to find to fill those positions.
Anybody, anything else? Okay, thank you all for that. Thanks.
Oh, so you don't.
I do. I do. It means a lot. Yeah, take care. It isn't. If we don't get it.
I'll send you a good copy.
It made some big changes out there for the.
And
Gets better, right? Everything's.
So when I worked Friday, it was not 90 degrees.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're finding some.
Oh,
things.
no.
Like last week.
Love 90 degrees.
He acted
We're still.
if he knew what he was
He
talking
did,
about.
and so first
But,
time,
you know, I mean, it is.
so we are working toward it, you know, we'll get back, and that was one of my meetings attended, but we did make some, and it was quick, so.
Did Dave?
Yeah.
It was, no, Dave didn't want to do it.
Okay.
Northwest, I ended up going northwest, and they're going to the next step, so we are working toward that, and so.
No, it's perfect. It was not 90 on Friday when I was there, but it could have been. I mean, I
He said he-
accepted it on Friday.
Yeah, we might not need that air compressor. They thought that was. Now it's gonna need to do that, but they're gonna look into it, so hopefully all the officers, and then he went through the manual adjustment, speeds.
I didn't-
So we're still working.
Station getting better.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you getting more heat down at your end of the, no? Okay.
We're pretty chilly.
he said that he's gonna work toward that. He thinks that there's a valve that with that system is not letting water go down there. He's gonna be back this week, hopefully, get working on it, but, okay?
Yes, it's really hot in our area, but I worry about those guys too freezing.
I don't know if it's better because the temperature is negative 18
Right.
degrees, so can't really. So you can't judge it, yeah.
But I think we got somebody on it now.
But I do know that the kitchen is better. Now we have to worry about these guys.
Yep, and we're gonna get back to them. The biggest thing is I wanted to get the high heat,
Right.
because it's stupid for us to boil.
Well, and it was really affecting the cooks, so.
And we might be too high a temperature on our boilers too. He was gonna look at that, so he's gonna bring, there's a guy in here that really understands equipment, so. We're working toward it, so I just wanted
Perfect. No,
to.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
So that, as long as we stay up on it and not forget it, I'm good. I'll be here every week if it gets too hot or they're too cold.
Does anybody service the boilers in the jail? Northwest used to, but I think.
I think they still do.
So,
Right there.
so currently with, it's Menace, however you say their name,
Yeah.
so it,
Smaller contract, because the contract we were in was $3,500. They couldn't prove that they've done anything.
then it
So we went to
well,
an $800 one with they've been there how many times?
Okay.
we have currently a.
It's been good.
He does air conditioners too. I didn't know he was gonna do one.
Well, we kind of added it on there because we didn't see the service being done and saved $3,000.
We are currently having issues right now keeping it warm in the jail, so they've been there frequently. I don't know how much it's gonna cost us to get it fixed, but it is what it is,
Okay.
and unfortunately,
Computers hooked up to it, they can access it anywhere. It's like a fingerprint issue of some sort.
it is, yep.
Give me a holler if you need it. Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Take
Steve.
care.
Take care. Man, I took a little bit, that says we're right on time, so let's go. You got it.
All right, I listened in on Sean's report, so that way.
I didn't steal your thunder.
No, but I didn't wanna repeat anything
Oh,
that
yeah.
you said, so, as he mentioned, the director position is gonna be posted tomorrow. In the newspapers for 2 weeks, on our website, on mycountyparks.com, and then it'll be posted through February 16th of 2024. Our board wants to give time for the budget process to, get established before they then have, so that they know kind of what they're working with when they're considering an offer for the director.
I think we did a range.
Yeah, we did a $60,000 to $75,000 range depending on experience.
Did you go back to the 4-year degree?
Yes, they went back to the 4-year degree, but they did not change anything else
Okay.
in that position description.
Okay, good.
So that's all set and staged and ready to go out tomorrow.
Good luck.
Thank you. I was gonna mention that we did notice a drastic change in the temperature on the hot end of the building, but as we just discussed, it's kind of getting chillier on our end. Just from sitting in there, it's the windows and the door.
Yeah.
That door is an interior door masquerading as an exterior door.
Is that the one going into the storeroom?
The one that goes into the storeroom over by the mailboxes. And then, right now, like partially it's the weather that we had, but you can see the snow is now piled in, it's gone in through the screen and is now just piled up against the glass.
Yeah.
And just, winter whips through, so
Yeah.
just,
Okay.
we're used to it, we get cozy and.
This kind of weather, you can tell if you got cheap windows or good.
Oh, for sure. And when the doors are interior versus exterior.
And we know them windows are 45, 50 years old.
Oh, yeah. For sure. I've broken a couple of them just because they just fall apart when you try to open them or close them. So, the only other thing that I wanted to make sure to mention that we talked about at the board meeting, but the timber stand improvement started on Thursday at Virginia Grove. I am sure that they got all sorts of messed up. Noah reported that they estimated it was gonna take 3 days. We have posted that it's gonna be closed through the end of this week, but I'm fully intending on extending it, but it worked out perfectly with hunting season coming to a close.
Perfect.
So we're just happy that it started.
Yeah.
And then other than that, we've just been working on budget on my end and then, natural resources management on the operation supervisor side of things. Derailed by snow removal, but we're gonna get back on track here this week, so.
Yeah, it's gonna warm up again Wednesdays. Yeah.
68 days till spring.
There we go.
I'm ready.
We're gonna think optimistically,
And Lana, can I give a shout out to Noah and Jacob
please
for,
do.
clearing our
Behind the scenes.
parking? I
Yes.
really appreciate them and they're a good couple guys.
They're a good couple guys and
Yeah,
they have
they
been
helped
going,
Tracy tremendously,
yeah,
so.
they've been going above and beyond, so I'll make sure to pass it along to them. And just their communication has been stellar. Yesterday, they texted out everybody in the conservation side of the complex to say, don't bother because there's a 6-foot drift blocking all the doors. And so just, those little,
Yeah, I
You know.
appreciate it.
using our technology, our text message technology to communicate. But I'll make sure to pass it along to them.
Similarly, there was a polar bear in an orange tractor that cleared this parking lot out here, personal tractor, and it plowed snow.
Yeah.
That's great, thank you, Brad.
I had to push it back because you guys couldn't push it anymore, so.
It's that community aspect that kind of comes through on weather events like this. So, other than that, I don't have any other major updates.
Anybody got any questions? Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome.
We don't want
I
to
don't know how you guys got here.
Well, I'm gonna go over there right now and check.
They got a little stuck yesterday.
Well, next week it might shrink a little.
Today,
I
okay.
hope so.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Oh,
There's some big drifts out there.
Mhm. Makes everybody, I don't know, not regret.
Everybody appreciates something.
Appreciate summer. We can think about all of the ticks that are
Yeah.
dying that aren't gonna be
Yeah.
found in the
Yeah.
springtime.
Hopefully they got rid of a few, but
Yeah.
well, it don't work that way, does it?
No.
On a positive note, I haven't seen a mosquito in weeks.
Or a flyer.
No pirate bugs biting us.
Or a bird. They're smart, they stay under.
yeah, so that one's on the road everywhere.
For sure.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Yeah, you too. Be safe.
No, I knocked myself out.
I'm thinking the one got issued with some doves and a bird feeder. Mine up around the edge, and dead doves on the water, right, scattered along the road and in the lots, I didn't think you got.
Keep on down to the stuff.
The cold, I would guess, but there's even songbirds.
My mom and dad's bird feeder, they filled it up on what it was. 300 birds.
Emptied it today.
Yep.
You're welcome. All right. So first, just to start with my regular updates, foot phone traffic, in December, 37 phones, 23 foot. As far as the mobile food pantry, we did have it December 13th. We had an overwhelming amount of turnout. We didn't think we would be, because it was a different day, and so we lowered it to 150 households. So we were out of food pretty early. It was before 3 o'clock. So that was kind of sad for some of the people, but we do go back to normal 200 household packages for January 24th. So we'll be out in the cold. Hopefully it warms up a little bit next week. So, and then for the food pantry here for Southeast Louisa County, in December, there was 23 households. That was 57 individuals that were served. And then the Christmas wish tree, we served 12 families. That was 25 kiddos that received gifts this Christmas. And then for the food basket here for Buffalo, Oakville, and Grandview, there were 53 Christmas food baskets given out. That served 152 individuals. And then Salvation Army, we picked up all the kettles after the holidays. And we collected $542 expense in the kettles that were distributed throughout Louisa County. And received over almost $3,000 in donations. So those funds will go throughout the year to help people that have evictions or disconnections or many other needs. And then we're on target with our budget this year. So things are looking good there. And then I also wanted to give a shout out to the parking lot crew. They were doing amazing. And I go out there and move my vehicle when needed, and they do just really great. No slips and falls or anything like that's happening.
Then I passed out several different documents here, and it was basically 2023 stats that I put together. So you'll see on the very first page, it's the different food pantries that are broken down into numbers. So it's a whole lot to look at. So I highlighted the top one, Southeast Louisa Food Pantry, serves Wapello, Oakville, and Grandview. So you'll see the total for our numbers there off to the right, that's also highlighted. The households, that's 352 households that we served in the year, 990 individuals, because a household might have 5 people or 1% or whatever. Community Action is the one that serves the Columbus Junction area. That's the next one. Morning Sun, I haven't gotten any other information. I asked for it just a little over a month ago and I haven't gotten that yet. So hopefully we'll get some information from them. Those are the 3 food pantries that the board put some funding towards. So we'll talk about that in just a second. But then there's other food pantries. So I have the Wapello School Food Pantry. You'll see their numbers, and then if you turn it over, you'll see the L&M School Food Pantry numbers. So moving on, the next sheet talks a little bit about the numbers for the mobile food pantry, the Christmas food basket, Angel Wish Tree, and foot and phone traffic for the year. And I also have several years listed there to kind of compare what's been happening over the years. If you see like the phone and foot traffic, 2017 to 19, I just didn't do stats during that time. And then we started doing stats. So I have them for the past 4 years. Going to the next page, I gave you each a half sheet that has all of our food pantries listed on there. So the 3 that we serve, as far as funding for the county, the Southeast Louisa County Food Pantry, the first one, we give $2,400. Community Action is the next one. We do $1,800. And then Skip Lulac, we go to Morning Sun Food Pantry and we give $600. Those 3 equal $4,800 that we give annually. And then the school food pantries that are listed on there, along with the mobile food pantry, the Food Bank of Iowa actually supplies the, they got the schools up and running with refrigerators, deep freezers, things like that, and they supply the food. So there's not a cost associated with the school food pantries. The mobile food pantry, there's not either. It's just a 1 day, once a month deal. They bring the food down, we give out whatever food we receive.
So what tonnage are we at on that mobile? Or they base it on tonnage?
So they used to talk a lot about tonnage. They have not talked about tonnage in a couple of years now.
Okay.
And so they just say that it's needed in our county, and almost all the counties actually receive a mobile food pantry now. There's one in Des Moines, there's one in Muscatine, Washington, they all have one. So
Compared to what it was, you think we're higher or lower than what it was 2 years ago?
tonnage wise,
That's why
I think it's higher as far as food coming to the county. I think we have definitely fulfilled above and beyond what Christina back in the day, I think is who you're referring to. Through the Food Bank of Iowa, but she had talked a lot about tonnage and why the mobile food pantry was here to make sure that we got food into our county and enough to serve anybody that had a need. I think we're above and beyond that now. We have several food pantries. We have lots of other avenues for food. So yeah, and then the other food pantries that are listed on here are also here in Louisa County, and they're just optional places. We don't fund them through county funds or anything like that. It's just other people that saw a need, like in Oakville. We service the Oakville clients here in Wapello, but Oakville does have their own little food pantry that they have open once a month. And then the little free food pantry is our newest food pantry. It's like when you see the little book, take a book, return a book, those little things on a post. We have one of those now here in Wapello. It's down at the Lutheran Church. And one of the people here in the county just wanted to try it. They saw they have these throughout like Des Moines in Polk County. And so they just wanted to give it a try here and see how it goes. It's been up a couple months. I haven't gotten stats on that yet. We'll have a meeting this month. So find out how it's going. It's all non-perishable foods in there, no canned goods, so they don't freeze, things like that. So I don't know if it's being utilized or not. We've gotten some word out there through advertising. And so, yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes.
Is the Oakville one, is that apostolic or is that?
The Oakville one, a lot of it is, yes, yeah. Yeah, in a garage down there, so. So I also wanted to mention, and I printed out a population sheet for you. And what we do when we fund those 3 food pantries through the county is we go by population. So you'll see several populations off to the left, just because I'm always for a lot that I do in my job. And so off to the right are the food pantry information. So you have 2019 at the top, 2022, which is the most current that I can get with populations right now, at the bottom. And so typically we do the percentage of that population that serves the county, the demographic areas of the 3 food pantries here in the county. So you'll see back in 2019, we were off with our $4,800 like estimates. But since then in 20, 21, 22, it's been pretty close to right on. So I would recommend you continue to fund those 3 food pantries in the same way that we have been funding them. We haven't had a food pantry representative come talk to the Board of Supervisors. I tend to give you all the information I think that you need, but if you ever want one of them to come in, I would definitely get one from each pantry to come in to talk to you if you want or anything like that. But just wanted to supply you with a whole bunch of numbers since it was year end and everything, so.
We don't have enough numbers to.
I know.
Thank you.
It's a nice easy number, I think. So,
I don't like how they're going though, it's population wise.
population, yeah, it's not, but
Everywhere.
that's everywhere, yeah, it's not just Louisa County, so it's all over. Yeah.
Not good,
Any other questions, or
not good.
do you need any information that I never give to you or anything like
Now
that?
you do very well. Thank you
Okay.
for this update. And
Alright.
I like how you cost neutral as far as staying with the contributions. And keeping the food pantries going. You showed us that it's working and
Mhm.
it's still, that's a good number.
Yeah,
So
there's a need out there and we're definitely filling
definitely.
it. so.
need- yeah.
Have food donations gone down since food prices? Have you noticed that?
So it's changed. I don't know if I would say gone down. It has gone down in different areas. So like meat doesn't always come in as often through the Food Bank of Iowa and things like that that used to. We used to get a ton of cheese, or we used to get a lot of dairy products, things like that. Things have changed that way. The school food pantry see it a little bit more because the foods that they get are only from the Food Bank of Iowa. So they can't go out and purchase things that maybe there's not enough of throughout their pantry. But those people that utilize school food pantries can use the county food pantries. And we do see some overlap. We don't compare the stats. We compare the stats, we don't compare the people or the clientele due to HIPAA. And so yeah, as far as food, I think we're all stocked well enough. Maybe not so much this last couple of weeks, just because the trucks haven't been available, or they have, and things have been just crazy with weather, but. Yeah, if we see a need, it seems like we let community know, and the community does so well that they told us, so, yeah, between Club Trio, Good Tyson, and the community donation.
One thing I don't hear you talking about, and that's volunteers.
Yeah, so volunteers are pretty well stocked. Our biggest issue is when the semi truck comes with the food. That's the hardest time for each of the pantries, because it takes muscles and strength to unload a semi, get all that food taken into the pantries. And so that's probably our biggest need. Columbus Junction, often is searching for volunteers. And then at the mobile food pantry, we tend to have pretty good turnout. The Apostolic Church a lot of times shows up in multiple numbers. It's amazing. But there are different times that it's difficult, or if the weather's bad, like we
Could be put on a list.
Absolutely, yeah. You want to give out your phone number or not? You can do it later also, instead of during the thing, but yeah, if you had a phone number you could supply me with, then if I hear of a need, then I can give you a call.
Go ahead, Randy, you'll put it in the newspaper.
I know, I don't do that, never mind. Sorry, I forget about.
We've all got our bids ready.
Any other questions?
Thank you for coming forward on that. Thank you.
I'll give you a
Yep.
couple of these, it's
Thanks,
just
Tim.
stats, and there's no information, the bottom group, if you each want one, there are two.
We have number 15. Thanks. See you this afternoon.
Yep.
And I think I put it on your desk. I don't know.
Alcohol permit, I've never seen.
Was it on the email? Maybe I didn't have anything.
Yeah,
There you go.
I thought I did.
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve the alcohol permit pending dram for the Heritage Oaks Golf Course.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Not all in favor?
All right,
Aye,
Motion passed. Thank you.
now we
Okay,
got
I got
the
claims. Yeah, the number on claims is 333. 442.60. Thank you.
everybody know how we're doing on the LP out at the complex?
60% a week ago.
All right,
I was out there before it got cold.
Here's an initial copy
all
to
right.
start around and.
When are we starting is it next week, starting the budget week? Okay. We started on Tuesday or Monday or,
I think, we start on Tuesday after the board meeting.
okay,
I just needed to know, are there any days you guys cannot come, because they usually have on Tuesdays and then a Wednesday and a Thursday. And which would be like the 23rd, 24th, 25th.
The 25th, I have to be
Okay,
in the morning, could be back in the afternoon.
okay, so we could do afternoon, the
Yeah.
25th.
Mhm.
okay, claims, can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
You know. This discussion with the Highway 61 at Grandview.